You asked me a question, and because it's the rules of this podcast, I do have to answer. I do have to answer. So, my credit card info is actually not. Hello, I'm Mellow. Welcome to the Mellow Friends Podcast, episode 4. I'm so glad you're tuning in because today's episode is about you. That's right. I believe every great story is made even greater when it is shared. Every song becomes more beautiful when it's sung by many voices, and every dream becomes stronger when it is supported by others. Why? Well, my friends, this is the magic of community. The power of people coming together to create something that they never could alone. A great example of this is this episode that you're listening to, because it's an episode that I could not have made without my community's participation. In case you didn't know, by watching this, you're now part of the Mellow Club community. Now, if you decide to leave, never watch another episode, that's fine. That's fine. But if you decide to stick around and check me out on other platforms, tune into my live streams or watch my videos, etc., you are a part of the club. And I just want to say welcome. Hope you enjoy your stay. I truly believe that community building is one of the most important parts of being a content creator. And because of that, I asked my community to ask me as many questions as they wanted on whatever they wanted. So I will be answering all of those questions right now. But first, a word from our sponsors. Man, I love the Mellow Club. Are you tired of having nothing to watch while you eat? Is work so boring you just want to watch something else instead? Well, do I have the perfect solution for your boredom problems? Presenting the Mellow Club, the perfect solution for boredom. Learn more at twitch.tv/Mellow Club. What's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of the podcast. Now, this is going to be structured very differently than other episodes because I don't have a proper outline. I have a list of questions that the Mellow Club has sent in to me on Discord. And so we're going to be going through all of them and answering them to the best of my ability. But yeah, so if this podcast is all over the place, then hey, that's sort of the intention. It's sort of meant to be that way. Um, because the Mellow Club's all over the place. Tons of different people are in the club and they have tons of different questions. So let's just get into it, all right? I'm gonna be answering them in chronological order based on when they were submitted. So that's why. If you see some repeat question askers, hey, that's allowed. Okay, that was not against the rules. So let's get into it. The first question I got was from Baby Stay. Baby Stay asked me, if you could create your own planet, what would it be named and what would it look like? This is a really, really cool question because as a content creator, I'm always asked this like all the time. Just kidding. I'm not, but that's okay. So I'm going to take this very seriously. Creating my own planet. First of all, I'm going to use Earth as a template. Okay. I'm gonna take Earth, duplicate it, copy, paste Earth, okay, and then just make it a little bit better because starting from scratch would take forever. So copy, paste Earth. We have Earth, but it's Earth 2. It's my version of Earth, the better version. Sort of like with Shrek and how Shrek 2, how Shrek 2 is like the better, version. It's the sequel that's better. So this Earth 2 is not going to be called Earth 2, okay? I got to think of a cool name. Obviously, I could just call it like Planet Mellow, you know? But that just feels like okay, dude. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go with Umbra. If I'm not mistaken, Umbra is the Latin word for shadow. And I'm a shadow VTuber in case you guys didn't know. I'm into shadows. I like shadows, okay? Uh so Umbra, this is the planet Umbra, okay? It looks like Earth, but it's better. There are some differences. There are some key differences. First difference, okay? First difference, no war. No war on my planet. It's really really cool like that. It's awesome like that. It's better than others in that sense, in that, way. It's super super cool. It's super awesome. Not biased. There's no war, no famine, no disease, because this is my planet, right? So I got to come up with the rules. I got to come up with the rules, and that's one of the laws of nature. One of the laws of nature on my planet. Um, is peace, world peace. Okay, world peace. Everyone gets along. Okay, if you're living on this planet, we're all getting along, and not even like in a culty way, but we're getting along. Everyone's allowed to be who they are. Uh, on this planet, there are these giant uh magical crystal pods. You enter one, and it's basically like a create your own character. You can change how you look. You can change your avatar. Again, there's no crime or anything on this planet, so like you don't have to worry about people changing their identities for crime. You can be who you are. You can be whoever you feel like you are, on this planet, and that's awesome. Short kings on my planet, you can be 6 foot plus if you want. Okay, uh, and you don't even have to change your character if you don't want to. Um, there is housing for all who want it and who need it. All animals on this planet are befriendable. Okay. Again, there's no violence on this planet. It's one of the rules of nature on this planet. Just go with me, okay? Just go with it, okay? Um, so yeah, really really cool. In terms of like the design, do you know? I think the term's called solar punk. I might be wrong, but you know how they have like cyberpunk, like dystopian futures where it's like, oh my gosh, welcome to Night City, wake up, samurai. Where it's all like dark and gritty, like tons of neon signs. This is like a futuristic city, like place, planet where like a lot of the cities are like very functional and designed to work with nature and allow nature to have spaces to grow. Like I said, on this planet you can befriend any animal you want. So, like we're working together. Think like Pokemon, except instead of it being like actual Pokemon, it's just like real animals. Okay? Uh, so instead of Pikachu, you got like a possum or whatever you want. um Arizona green tea exists on this planet, okay? Okay. They basically saw the planet and they're like, "Yeah, you know what? Let's just go there." Um there's no like you can do whatever you want. Like I said, no disease, no famine. All your pets and animals that you want, you can choose for them to be immortal. Same goes for you. And because our planet is so cool, we don't worry about overpopulation. Okay, that just doesn't exist here. Uh, you know. And what else? What else? What else? Like I don't know. Everything's free, and there's enough resources for that to be possible. Um, Everything runs on solar energy and renewable energies, and all the food you have tastes amazing on this planet. Uh Source, trust me, bro. And and within certain areas of the planet, okay, within certain areas of the planet, there are different genres. That's right. That's right. Okay. This planet is slowly turning into Ready Player One, but it's real life. So, on this planet, there are certain genres, all right? So if you want, you can live in the fantasy world, or in the futuristic world, part of the world, right? There's also worldwide parties that go on, and it's all cool, and everyone on the planet is chill, and we don't ever have to worry. And the planet Umbra. Off the top of my head, oh, and I have Spider-Man powers. Uh, and flash powers and whatever I want. That's just for me though. Sorry. That's just for me. Sorry guys. And yeah. It basically looks like Earth from a distance. Kind of chill. It's called Umbra. Everyone can literally like train animals like Pokemon, And since there's no real conflict, there are like cool Pokemon battles with like real animals, except the animals never actually get hurt, like in Pokemon. I think actually in Pokemon they do get hurt though, not gonna lie. But in this world, they don't. Why? Because I said so. If I'm creating the planet, I do what I want with it, right? Technically, right? Like I can choose the rules of engagement for how things work on the planet, and that's how they work on the planet Umbra, okay? Uh Excellent question. On to the next one. Lily asked, "What are your real thoughts on the Trojan horse?" And in case you don't know why Lily asked this, a few days ago, oh man, months now. I think like a month ago. I think it was like last month in February, at least at the time of recording. Last month I participated in a PowerPoint competition, like collab stream where like we come up with an idea and we present it, and somehow I won. I won. Shout out to Barry for hosting that. It was really really fun. But in my PowerPoint, I started off with the first like slide of my PowerPoint is like the history of the Trojan horse, how subverting expectations helped the Trojans win or something like that, right? And then it's like, psych, I subverted your expectations. My real presentation is on this, right? And it was really, really like a funny joke and bit, in my opinion. As someone who has a degree in history, I never used my history degree, but I was like, let me, like, this is the closest I'm getting, and I didn't even do it. So my real thoughts on the Trojan horse are strategically really, really smart. I think they literally gaslit their opponent into being like, oh wow, they like sent us a present, like you know, wow, they sent us a gift. Let's let it all in. I don't know too much about the details of the Trojan horse. I'm gonna be honest, but I think strategically it's really, really smart, right? Um, to sort of like you can't get in through the gates, so you sort of sneak in. You have them bring you into the city. Um, Really, really cool, smart. I think nowadays, like at the time, revolutionary in terms of like, wow, like who would have ever thought to like do that, right? Like that's sort of crazy. But now it's like, oh, that's not that crazy. Like I've seen that trick before, bro. Okay. So yeah. If you ever see a giant wooden horse outside your house, don't take it inside because it could be a Trojan horse. Don't fall for that. Oldest trick in the book now, but at the time, newest trick in the book and a really good trick. So those are my thoughts on the Trojan horse. I think kind of funny too. Like as someone who likes jokes and bits, I'm like that's kind of hilarious. Like, guys, there's a giant wooden horse outside. Oh wow, it must be a gift. Bring it on in. Bring it on in. Like, huh? It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Um, so yeah, I think Trojan Horse is strategically smart at the time. In hindsight, really dumb and funny. Uh, and yeah, thanks, Lily. Okay, the next question is from Buddy, and Buddy asked, "What are your top three streamers that inspired you the most before you started?" Okay, so this is gonna take a little bit, maybe. Off the top of my head, first one that comes to mind, and this might not seem like it because of how like high energy I am now and how I am like totally like a yapper and you can't get me to stop talking. Um but Saikuno. If you guys know the streamer Saikuno, he is one of the streamers that really inspired me to start because he was someone that I related to when I was watching streams a lot before I decided to make the jump to streaming. I related a lot to Saikuno. He was someone who was like, very shy and, through streaming, slowly stepped out of his comfort zone and like became more social and sort of talked more and interacted with more people like that. And I started streaming the summer before my last semester of college. And so I was very much someone who was shy, especially during college. I didn't really have any friends. I wasn't near any of my old friends from high school. Like in college, I genuinely only made like one friend in the whole time I was there. Okay. Um, so not a lot, and they didn't live on campus or anything. Well, to be fair, towards the end of my college. It was also during COVID, right? I started 2021. Like we were in quarantine. But even then, even before the quarantine, I didn't not socialize much in college. Very shy, very isolated, very like, oh man, like anxious to talk to people. And I've always been someone who's like open to talk to anyone, but like initiating that conversation, like going up to someone and be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" is something that even to this day I'm not like I can, I'm a streamer. People usually come to the stream to talk to me, so it's sort of different. Um, anyways, long tangent. So Saikuno, because I sort of saw his role or his place, among his friend group and like who he streamed with. Like he was someone who I related to as someone who was shy and a little awkward. Like I saw him do it and I was like, "Whoa, like I can probably do it too." So that's one of them, a huge one. Saikuno. Also really like funny and entertaining and like a little bit of a troll, and I sometimes I'll troll for content. Like I'll troll for the bit. I don't take things too seriously when it comes to like gaming. Like if we're, playing a game like Content Warning or something like that. Like I'll be willing to like let let a friend die for the bit, or like step on a landmine, or be like, "What?" for the bit. And like he trolls a little bit like that too. So yeah. Yeah. Saikuno definitely a top 3 streamer that inspired me. Next one, Fuslie. Fuslie. I'm a Lesler, guys. I'm a Lesler. If you don't know who Fuslie is, they are someone who has streamed with like Saikuno. You might notice that the top three streamers that I mentioned are sort of like within, like a similar group circle thing. But that's sort of like the way it works, like you watch people who hang out with other people you watch usually, at least for me. So yeah, Fuslie is a big inspiration in terms of what I aspire to be or want to be, and like want my community to be like. And I'm a Lesler, guys. I know I said that already, but that's the peeps who are like fans of Fuslie. They call themselves Leslers. Anyways, um Fuslie I think is sort of someone who I wanted to be like. I don't know if that makes sense. Like for me, Saikuno is someone who I was like, and in some ways still am like, you know. But Fuslie was someone who was like always energetic, always seemed to like talk to people. Everyone in their community seemed to be like really, really like nice and like positive. And I think that's really, really hard to obtain as a big streamer. I don't know if that makes sense, but when your communities get larger, it's sort of harder to cultivate and like moderate all of them, right? You can't control what every single person does. But for the most part, it seemed like Fuslie, Leslie had like a really overall like well-rounded, kind community of people that were like really supportive, and Leslie just seemed to be like a very like bubbly, energetic, positive person. And so I wanted to be like Fuslie, if that makes sense. Um so yeah, like Kuno, Fuslie, and the third one is gonna be tough. It's tough. Like those first two, amazing. But there's so many streamers, so it's hard. It's hard to pick just three. Um, I don't know if this counts, but I'm gonna say it because technically they streamed. I know it's top 3 streamers, and I feel like this third I'm going with is technically more of a YouTuber. Technically, they streamed, and they got me into streaming, if that makes sense. Like, I used to watch a lot of YouTube before I made the jump to like Twitch and watching live streams. And the reason I made that jump was because of Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves is, I'm gonna be honest, predominantly a YouTuber. They make like really, really cool and funny videos. And when they joined the streaming group Offline TV, uh, I started getting more into streaming, right? Because obviously it's sort of like a streamer group. Everyone there's predominantly a streamer, like a streamer first, YouTuber second, if that makes sense. But Michael joined, and I was like, oh, okay, like I never heard of this group before, and so I really got into the community offline TV community, like watching things like, you know, their YouTube videos with Michael, and then being like, oh wow, like they do this live, like let me check it out. Like obviously I've heard of some of the streamers in OTV before Michael Reeves, like Pokimane, things like that. Even though she recently graduated, right? Well, not recently, graduated a bit ago, right? But the group, I like was familiar with them, but I never really checked them out until Michael Reeves joined. And Michael Reeves joining was sort of like the first domino to get knocked down that led me to going down the Twitch rabbit hole. If that makes sense. Really funny, really entertaining, and seems just like a memer, like a memer. I enjoy a good meme. And so yeah, top three would be Saikuno, Boozley, and technically might be a cop out answer, but Michael Reeves. Um, Michael Reeves got me into Twitch. Saikuno made me feel like streaming was something that I could do as well. And Boozley is sort of like something that I sort of wanted to emulate, to be like, to aspire to. Obviously, I'm gonna be myself at the end of the day. I'm not gonna become a copy of them or whatever. But like, like just sort of embody bits and pieces of all inspirations. I think is sort of how it's done for most people. I think. But yeah, W question, buddy. W question. Next question is the real Echo. Echo asks, "What makes you keep streaming even on hard days in life?" And I think this is a question that I tried to answer a little bit in the second episode. Second episode, could be wrong. Second episode of the podcast, and I try to answer because I think it's important. I think it's an important one. To sort of recap that episode, it sort of stems or boils down, not stems, boils down to motivation, having fun, and having goals in mind, right? Like having fun and the goals that I want to achieve help me find motivation to keep streaming on hard days. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes there are days where like I go on stream and it's just not like, it's just not a good day. It's not like the stars aren't aligned. And so sometimes I'll call stream short, but I still at least want to do something, right? I am as a person, I feel bad when I don't do anything. I at least have to do something. What is that something? I don't know. Some days it's filming, scripting, and editing an entire video in one day, right? Other days it's like, okay, let me go live for like an hour just to hang out for a little bit. I'm feeling a little under the weather, I'm feeling sick, or I'm just, not motivated today, but at least let me do something, right? Whether it could be as simple as like, let me, brainstorm, do video ideas, let me, um, make a few thumbnails, right? I know you asked specifically like streaming, but sometimes there are days where I don't stream because I'm having a tough day, right? But I try to do something else that is at least productive towards content creation daily. And that's sort of my myself giving myself grace, right? Like, okay, but you don't have to stream 7 days a week. You don't have to. Honestly, technically, it's probably a little bit better that you don't stream 7 days a week, right? Not that it's bad if you do, but if there's a day where I just can't be like on stream, I will do something else. It could relate to stream, but yeah, I just try to keep in mind what I want to achieve, why I do it, and also community. At the start of this episode, the little blurb and stuff was really focused on community, and I think that's another thing that I didn't really talk about in the previous episode. Um, but community is something that also keeps me going on hard days. Like you guys, like genuinely motivate me to continue to push and to not give up. And you know, I have a dream, a goal, something that I want to aspire to, right? And you guys believe in me. And that means the world to me. That means the world to me. And so I view your support, you guys tuning in, you guys hanging out, as like you guys, supporting my dream, being a part of that dream. And so I'm trying to achieve this dream for me, right? For myself, on one level, because it's something I want. But also now it's become larger than that. It's more than just my dream because you guys have participated in it and supported it. It's now like, like a community dream. Not that you guys dream of me being successful. That's not what I mean. Hopefully that's not hopefully that's not how that came off. Um but you guys have supported me. You guys have given me time out of your day, out of your lives. Some of you guys monetarily, like when you gift subs or like bits and things like that, have like supported what I want to do. And so on days where I can't do it for me, I do it for you guys, and not in a like burnt out way either, right? But like if I can't on, some random day, I can't find the motivation. I'm like, you know what? I said I was gonna do this for you guys. I have a responsibility to do it, right? And so yeah, to summarize the answer, it is a combination of, you know, goals, having fun while streaming, allowing myself the grace to, say I can't today. I can't today. I can't do this today. Let me do this instead. Right? So at least I'm still doing something. And then community, right? Being able to hang out with you guys is a big part of what makes it fun for me at least. So, yeah, I know it could be hard some days. And so if you need a break, I say take a break. Um, because it's not bad. It's not bad to take a break. But yeah, hopefully that was the answer you were looking for. I don't know if I answered it super well, Echo, but hopefully, hopefully it was. But yeah, that's sort of what makes me, at least, keep streaming on hard days in life. You know, not every day in life is a hard day in life. Some days are. But yeah, hopefully that was good. Um, baby stay. Another question. A few questions. Three questions. First question is, what is your favorite piece of art? Um, really, really hard. It's like really hard to pick one. Also, like, are we talking like? I'm assuming you mean like a painting, or right? Because like music composition or like a film, right? Like that's art. I'm gonna answer this with the assumption that you mean like a painting, okay? And if that's the case, I'm gonna go. This I feel like I'm so like boring and like basic with paintings. Um, maybe Starry Night. Starry Night seems like very, very like it's like pretty, very nice to look at. Um, yeah. Also like the nighttime, the colors, the like the brush. Like I like Starry Night. I like Starry Night. If that's really basic, I'm sorry. Hopefully that's a good answer. The next question Baby Stay asked is, if you had to switch lives with a Mellow Club member for a day, who would you pick and why? I cop out answer, my dog George. But I feel like that doesn't count, but to me it does. Um this probably won't make sense. Probably won't make sense at all. But when I first started streaming, I never really like advertised like, "Hey guys, I'm a streamer," and like I never told any of my IRL peeps or anything, right? The only peeps I told were my sister and my mom. And so for like the first few streams, I streamed to like no one. And one day, there's this random person who just happened to, I don't know why, but just be looking through streams and sorting by lowest and found me and gave me a chance. And my first ever chatter, their username was Let Matt Vibe, right? Something like that. Yeah, Let Matt Vibe. And they were my first ever like active chatter. I had no idea who this person was, and like I will never forget. I don't know, some streamers might, but I never forget my first chatter. Like I make an effort, and sometimes I still think of them like a lot. I don't know what they're doing. You know, like it's just a natural course that like sometimes not everyone's gonna always be active in a community. Uh, some people stay for the whole show, some stay for a season, some stay for a few episodes. But Matt was my first ever chatter, and I am forever grateful. I am forever grateful. I genuinely don't know if I could have continued like longer. I want to say I could, but I don't know if I could have continued longer if I didn't have that first like chatter, that first community member that I had like no connection to previously just stumble upon me and be like, "Hey, like let's hang out." Like, um so I would switch lives with them just cuz I want to see how they're doing. And I hope they're doing okay. You know, they don't have to follow me, they don't have to chat or whatever. But I just like for me, I'm forever grateful that they did that. I know it might not seem like a lot to viewers or whatever, especially if you're watching large streamers. But if you're, a streamer who has zero viewers and you get someone in chat and they're genuinely kind and like asking you questions and engaging with your stream like that, it like makes your whole day, right? Right? So I would trade places with my first ever chatter just because I want to make sure they're okay, if that makes sense. Like I just want to see how they're doing. I hope they're good. You know? Yeah, that's who. Uh, and then the third question that Baby Stay asked is, "What's my credit card info?" And then they said parentheses, "Please don't ban me. I'm joking." Baby Stay, you asked me a question, and because it's the rules of this podcast, I do have to answer. I do have to answer. So, my credit card info is actually not going to be told to you. I'm sorry, but that's private information. You're banned. No, I'm just kidding. You're not banned. You're not banned. But yeah, I'm going to bleep this whole thing out and make it the beginning blurb. So, if you get to this part, and you're like, what did he say? This is what I said. Thanks for making it to this part. And hopefully you keep watching. Hopefully you didn't just watch the whole episode to get my credit card info. That's crazy if you did. Anyways, next question is from Damon. Okay. And they ask, why is your name Mellow? So let's sit down. Children, gather around. This is a long story. Uh and I'll try to make it as short as possible. Um So, I was in high school when I came up with the username Mellow Club. Okay. Originally, no joke, it was meant to be like a group channel YouTube name for me and my friends. Like we're a club of mellow guys. Like we're just a couple of chill dudes. Cue the music. Um, right? I don't know if this is relatable to anyone, but if you ever like sat down with your friends or like, you're hanging out and you're like, dude, we should totally start a podcast. Or dude, we should totally start a YouTube channel. Basically it was like one of those conversations with friends, you know? And we're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like we can have a variety channel where we do different things. Like, bro, you're into cars, so you'll make car videos. You like video games, you'll make like video game play videos. You like comedies, you'll do sketch comedy. You can do fashion, right? Things like that. um and so I was like, okay, well, what's like a group name that's not specific for like what for variety, like what's a name that could technically be for anything? And so we came up with Mellow Club. Well, I came up with Mellow Club. And then as these things usually go, we never started the channel and never made a podcast, never did anything. uh but I still had the username. I still had the username. So it was just my username from like that point on. I just went with Mellow Club. And so that was my username for when I started streaming, was Mellow Club. Um and it sort of turned into something that like the name didn't change, but the intent behind it did. I decided to keep the name Mellow Club for when I started streaming because I was like, well, I'm streaming because I'm kind of lonely in college and kind of shy and kind of awkward. I want like some friends. Like that's genuinely why I started. So I was like, let's keep the name Mellow Club so that like the channel is not named after me, it's named after the community, which I think is like I said, it's really important to me. Like community is very important to me. So that's why the channel name is Mellow Club. Now, specifically, the character you see in front of you, this VTuber, their name is Mellow. Why? Well, because within the context of the VTuber's lore, right? This is where we get into fictional storytelling. All this is lore within the VTuber uh world, but technically not the IRL world. Okay. Sorry for the immersion break, but that's what this podcast is about. Okay. This podcast is about being open with you guys. Okay. So Mellow, the character you see before you, is the moon's shadow, right? They are a shadow VTuber, specifically Moon Shadow. The moon is why their hair is white and why their hands are white. And if you've never seen the hands before, boop, look, the hands are white. Hand reveal. And so name that username Mellow inspired the name of this character Mellow IRL. That's why their name's Mellow. But in universe, basically, they were taken by this government organization. Think like ET or like think uh, Creature Commandos, things like that, right? Akin to that, where this like government agency, the acronym is MLO. Uh, they take cryptids and creatures and stuff and try to weaponize them. That's within the Mellow Club universe, the MCU. Uh, that's the name of the government organization that took this shadow creature and wanted to try to turn it into an assassin. Uh it escaped. There was this kid who found the shadow and sort of like on the tag that's like on the shadow, there's, you know, like MLO subject whatever whatever. And so the boy just mistakes this acronym for Mellow, MLO. He just reads it as Mellow. And so he sort of calls the shadow Mellow, and that's where he gets his name from within the context of the Mellow Club universe lore storyline, whatever you want to call it. So that's why Mellow goes by Mellow in terms of the VTuber's backstory. But in terms of the IRL reason for me being named Mellow, it was just a group name for my friends that we never ended up using, and so I just took it for myself. And because I wanted to name my channel after the community that I longed for, the community I wanted, right? Um, from the start, I didn't always want to be like a successful streamer, but I did know I wanted a community. And now I want both. I want to succeed as a streamer and succeed with my community. And so, yeah, thank you for that question, Damon. I don't know if I answered it well enough. I don't know if it was coherent at all. I don't know if it was easy to follow, but hopefully you were able to follow and you got the answer you were looking for. Hopefully I answered it uh pretty well. Next question is from Mother Nature, and Mother Nature asked, "What's your fave animal slash breed of animal like chocolate Labradors?" Parentheses. And cop out answer again, my dog George. Can we get a picture of George up on screen, editor? I'm the editor. I'll put a picture of George up on screen. Uh, audio listeners, George is the cutest dog ever. That's the perfect description. Okay. If you want, you can look at the picture on screen. But yeah, basically George is an angel, and so George, he's my favorite breed of animal. But if you're like your dog doesn't count, um, honestly, I am a fan of large cats, like specifically the tiger. When I was a kid, I in like second grade, I did like a little diorama on tiger, yeah, on tigers, and I remember reading in a book back in the day. We didn't have internet. Just kidding. We didn't afford internet, so we didn't have internet, but internet existed. I'm not that old. Anyways, uh, I remember reading that tigers were actually like the larger. um cat of the jungle. Like I remember being like, wow, so tigers are larger than lions, but lions are the king of the jungle. But tigers are larger. That makes them cooler, right? That was my little kid logic. Um, so I've always liked tigers. I think they're cool. I think their pelt pattern is very, very beautiful. Orange and black is similar to yellow and gray. Not really at all. I just said that. That's not. They're not that similar. Um, but I think they're really, really cool. And so yeah, a tiger is my answer. Um, Jay is the next question. Um, and they asked, "Can we still ask?" And the answer is yes, Jay. You can still ask. And then after that, they asked, "If you could imagine your future, what would it look like? Would you be a full-time streamer or something more?" And that's an excellent question because I've always in the podcast like talked about like goals loosely and what I want for the future, but I've never sat down with you guys. I've said it on stream a few times, but I've never sat down with y'all and just let you know. So my goal for the future is, or let's start with this. Whenever I sit down and imagine my future, cue some background music. Imagine Herb Alberts and his Tijuana Brass are playing Ladyfingers. I can't play that on the podcast because DMCA. But just imagine that song is playing in the background, okay? While I talk about this scenario. Each time I imagine my future, I close my eyes. If you're driving, do not follow along with this and close your eyes. Don't do this. But if you're just listening, close your eyes and follow along with me. Let's try to visualize, okay? So, I imagine myself in the backyard of a very nice house. Not like bougie, fancy, like mansion or anything, but like a nice, like suburbs, like house. The American dream type of house. There's a backyard. My dogs, George and Lenny, who are immortal. They're running around in the backyard having fun. I am chilling in a hammock, right? And just sort of, enjoying this beautiful weather. It's a nice day, the type of days where it's like sunny, but it's not too hot because there's like a nice breeze that's refreshing, but it's not cold, it's not chilly. It's just sort of perfect, right? And I'm just chilling in this hammock, sipping on some Arizona green tea, not sponsored unless they want to hit me up, hit me up. Um in this future scenario, I am sponsored by Arizona green tea, okay? Right, we're talking about my dreams. So I dream to be sponsored of uh well, specifically the Arizona Tea Company. um but I love their green tea and that's why I want to get sponsored. Anyways, back to the visualization. So I'm drinking some Arizona green tea that I get because I'm sponsored by them, so I get it for free. Right, enjoying that in my backyard. um Inside my house are basically my family. And they're gathered. I don't know why, but I always picture this when I picture my dream future. They're gathered, all my friends and family are inside. Who knows, maybe it's my birthday. you know they're all safe. I know where they're at. They're prepping some food, chilling, hanging out inside. I'm taking a break outside. um my family and friends, they're safe and they're with me and they're sort of prospering with me. They're enjoying this the space that I've been able to create. My dream house. Like I said, I don't want like a super lavish fancy house. I'm gonna be honest. I I want a house that I've never had. I've never had a house like that. So to me, that is like the lavish dream house. I know it might not be for some other people, but yeah, I want to be able to have my own streaming room. I've never ever ever had my own room before in my life. So I would love to have my own room. Um, you know, Nice high-end streaming setup, VR, maybe full body tracking for an eventual like 3D model. Like a 3D model would be really really sick. Um I want to, in the future now, right? I want to do more than streaming a little bit. Like I love streaming. I love streaming. But I think it'd be really, really cool to maybe someday release music, maybe even like short films, right? I want to also help others within the content creation space. Like if I can, I don't want to say start an agency because within the VTubing sphere, agencies, I don't know, but I want to maybe do something to help other people who are aspiring to be a streamer like me because I'm right now currently in this moment in time aspiring to be a successful streamer. So I would love to be able to maybe pay it forward, if I can, right? Maybe not like an agency, maybe like management. Maybe I'm a talent manager. I don't know if I could ever do that. Um, but something I'd want to do something to help others. You know, I would have, I don't know, maybe I'm married. Who knows? I don't know. We'll toss that in there. Why not? I don't even really want to get married, guys, but for the taxes, I'm just kidding. IRS, if you see if that's a joke. If I ever get married, it's for love, okay? Uh, but I don't know. Yeah, I'd want to be a full time streamer. It'd be cool if I could release music on the side. Dream, like this is like crazy out there. Like having a mellow anime would be sick. I would love that so much. Again, now I'm just sort of like, shoot for the stars, I'll land on the moon type thing. But like creating like movies, uh helping like produce movies, produce an anime based on the Mellow Club lore, maybe a webtoon comics or actual manga, who knows. Um I basically at the very like least I would love to have a home to live in with my friends and family, to be able to visit whenever they want. I would want my family and friends to be safe. I basically just want to take care of and provide for my people, my peeps. Um and to be able to do it uh by doing something I love, right? So for me that's streaming. I love streaming. Um Even if I reach like a level of success where it's like I never have to stream ever again. I've made it. I can retire. I'm still going to stream. I don't know. I love it. I love it. And so I want to do this for as long as I can, and I hope my future allows me to do that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's what I imagine my dream future scenario to be like. Chilling in the backyard, sipping some green tea. My friends and family are inside, having fun, hanging out. I want to be able to provide for my family, and not in a like crazy, filthy, rich way either. But it's like, oh man, like recently we got a new fridge. That's an update. Um, so like in the second episode of the podcast, I mentioned my refrigerator wasn't working, right? We got a new one now. Uh Update on the refrigerator saga. Um right, but it took us a while to. We had like no fridge for like almost a month, like 3 weeks, right? Cuz fridges are expensive. Um and so I would want to be able to be in a position where if like something like that ever happened, I could easily just like be like, yeah, I'll get you a new fridge for like my mom, for my sister, my friends, family, like anyone who needs it, right? Like I would also love to do philanthropy work. Like I don't know if you guys know this, but I do a lot of fundraising. I've been streaming for a while, and for most of that time, basically I participate in like charity streams and do things like that. Um, because I think it's really, really important to give back, right? I don't have a lot in terms of like um my monetary like wealth right now, right? But I can give back to causes that need it, um with the help of my community. Like that's another thing. So I would love to be able to do more philanthropy work like that as well, in the future. I think that'd be really, really, really cool. I Yeah, I don't know. I know that was like all over the place. That was all over the place, Jay. But yeah, I would want to be a full-time streamer. I would love to be able to provide for myself, my friends, and my family. I would love to have the ability and the power to work with brands that I like to work with. that I enjoy, right? Um I would love to give back to the community. I would love so many things. I don't know. Um so yeah. Yeah. I think I think that's it. I think I answered it. I think I answered it. But yeah, yeah. I would love to do more, but my dream for the future, what I imagine is streaming. Is streaming. But I think that's why I love streaming, because streaming allows me to do all these like other things, like I don't just stream video games. Like some days I'll stream making a song on stream in 3 hours, or like playing guitar, or doing art, or animating, right? Things like that. So I have like a ton of interest in things I like to do, and I think streaming is the best venue or outlet for me to be able to do that, if that makes sense. And so the future I imagine involves me being a full-time streamer and doing all the other things I want to do as well, if that makes sense, right? I feel like most people aren't just like a there's one thing only I like to do. I feel like most people, you know, like to do multiple different things. I'm sure there are some people who like to only do one thing. But yeah. So yeah, W question, Jay. Hopefully I answered it well. A baby stay, shout out to you again, asked Mellow, when will we get an only Jet stream? And if you don't know, Jet is the official mascot of the Mellow Club. They're like a little shadow cat, basically like a cat version of me. Uh, I don't know. I don't know, baby stay. I would have to be in a position where I can commission a that rhymed bars. I'd have to be in a position where I could commission a Jet VTube model. There are, you know, ways I could do it as a PNG tuber, but I think if I were to set up like a Jet takeover stream where Jet takes over the club, I would want to be in a position where I can get a proper model made for Jet. Because right now I only have like one piece of like art that is his official outfit that I made, right? And so yeah, yeah. When I get to a point in my career where I can get a Jet model, we will get an only Jet stream. Hopefully that, hopefully, hopefully that satisfies uh what you were looking for when asking. But yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I just, if I were to do it, I'd want to do it to like a certain level of like quality, if that makes sense. Like a certain degree of like I would do like a whole Jet debut, maybe pretend to be Jet like in character. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it would be really really cool. Just not in the cards yet. Yet. Hopefully soon. Well, not well, like hopefully soon, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I would love for it to be able to happen anytime soon. Uh, and then after that, Baby Stay also asked, if you could be a cake, what kind would you be? And here's the thing, I don't love cake that much. Like I like it. I like it. Um it's good, but I don't know. I like cupcakes more cuz I think the ratio of icing to cake is better on those. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. You didn't ask about that. I enjoy red velvet. I would love to be red velvet, but I feel like I would be funfetti, you know? You ask if you could be a cake, what kind would you be? I think I would be funfetti. I would like to be red velvet because that's the type of cake I like red velvet. It's my like go to when they're like, "What do you want for your birthday?" I'll be like, "Red velvet, please." Um, and so yeah, I would want red velvet, but I feel like I'm funfetti, if that makes sense. And the last question of today's episode was asked by Mother Nature, and they asked, "What's a plant you hate and why?" Now, this is a tough question, okay? A very tough question. and I'll tell you why. Okay, because I have an answer. I have an answer. This is the only question I actually prepped for because I didn't know the name of this plant. I did not know the name of this plant, and technically, it's a tree. Technically, it's a tree. I think trees count as plants. I think they count. I don't know. Um, but the name of it is the calorie pear or the Bradford pear tree. It's a tree that like looks pretty. The tree looks beautiful. It's a tree with like white flowers on it. But these trees stink. They smell like garbo. Like well, no, they smell disgusting. These trees smell disgusting. Uh, okay around where I grew up, there was this sort of block. I won't say specifically where, but there was this block that I would sort of, walk by and stuff. It had these trees on there, and they stank. They smelled really, really bad. Like I, like gross. Like no joke. Sometimes I would tuck my nose into my shirt. Like I don't know if you've ever done that, but I would do that sometimes if like, when these trees grew the flowers and they were blooming, they smelled. They smelled. Um and I think some of them technically I think this tree, the Bradford pear, I googled the name of it. Uh yeah, the Bradford pear I think is technically classified as like an invasive species or like in some areas. So that also is just like another reason to not like it. Um, but yeah, that's that. It's a tree, which hopefully counts as a plant. In your opinion, Mother Nature. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure you have an affinity for uh plants, but I don't like that tree because it smells. It's stinky. Uh, and so yeah, that's my answer. And those were all the questions. Those were all the questions I was asked for today's episode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. In the comments of this video, uh, feel free to maybe ask some more questions. Maybe I'll pick some of them for the next time I do a Q&A. Maybe I will. If not, I'll always notify the Discord. Or when I'm, you know, looking for questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And before I go, remember that you matter. And in case someone told you that before, I just did. So don't forget it, okay? Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.